Level 50, 100% IV Totodile. Happy to tank the body slam. You might ask yourself, what is this thing doing on your screen? Well, it's also got access to buff Aqua Jet. Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up. If you're a fan of Spice, this one is for you, as today we have an incredible battle submission from realwavynsaucy flexing his perfect 100% IV, level 50, a Shadow Totodile in the Scroll Cup. I have zero doubt in my mind that realwavynsaucy will eventually be turning this into a Feraligatr to use for the Master League Premier Cup. However, we recently had Totodile Community Day. He got the XLs required. This thing has access to that very good water type charge move with Aqua Jet that got a massive buff this season. So despite it being less than 1300 CP, he wanted to see what it could do in the Scroll Cup. Running Water Gun, Aqua Jet and Crunch. Is it going to be any good? I'll be honest, I have my doubts. However, I love to be proved wrong. Today's team partners are going to be Morpeko and Gastrodon, a Pokemon I'm personally not a fan of. But with that being said, without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game 1, we lead Totodile into Swampert. Somewhat of a neutral matchup, probably about as good as we can hope for. We look to fire off the Aqua Jet, losing CMP. Sludge would probably do a lot. Thankfully, the opponent only throw a resisted Hydro Cannon. Totodile withstands the damage, fires off the Aqua Jet. Look at Totodile go, putting Swampert into the red health range. We then save Totodile, make the Hydro Cannon catch onto Gastrodon, where the Hydro Cannon doesn't do too much damage. However, our save switch is answered by Chesnaught, and things are already looking dreadful. Chesnaught, a huge core breaker for this team. Gastrodon fires off the Body Slam, which doesn't do much of anything, as Body Slam isn't a particularly good move. I did mention in the intro, I'm not a huge fan of Gastrodon. I just think it's such an RPS pick. If you get it stuck against a grass type or a flyer, you're essentially crying. realwavynsaucy might be down, but he is not out. He's looking to make a comeback in this battle. We correctly shield up the Frenzy Plant. Use Totodile as a 600,000 Stardust third shield. Catching the second Frenzy Plant. We send back out Morpeko. Fire off the Psychic Fangs. No, the opponent survived on almost invisible HP and we're forced to go down both Protect Shields. Morpeko shields up the Superpower. Back out comes Swampert. We're able to farm down. Surely this isn't winnable. Out comes Sableye. We full send the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel. No, goes unshielded as well. Trainer, what are you saving them shields for? Holy crap, I almost have a heart attack in game 1, but somehow we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's. If battle number 1 is anything to go by, we could be in for some fun in today's shoutcast. In the next battle, awful lead. And for the second consecutive battle, our Gastrodon save switch is hard punished. I am crying already. Gastrodon into Mandibuzz is just such a dreadful position to be in. These Mud Slaps are double resisted, Body Slam has been nerfed into oblivion and are essentially healing this very bulky Vulture. If you're wondering just how bad this matchup is, if you're a snail, well, in a scenario where you've got 2 shields, Mandibuzz has 0, you're still going to lose, and Mandibuzz even comes out with 31 remaining HP. The opponent fire off another charge and we save Gastrodon as a potential sack swap and send out Morpeko. Thankfully, the opponent doesn't hard punish us with their own Gastrodon. Morpeko tanks the Aerial Ace, overfarms, fires off the Aura Wheel picks up the knockout and vamps up our already impressive attack stat. The opponent reluctant to enter the mirror, send out Spirit Tomb. And to be honest, we're not now in a bad position. Gastrodon might not even be a sack swap, it might actually have a couple of Mud Slaps left in the tank to deal some much needed damage on the opposing Morpeko. We fire off back-to-back Aura Wheels, the second one on a charge attack priority. And just like that, Totodile has a pretty strong chance of cleaning up. Rock Tomb picks up the knockout. Totodile will be entering the arena and it's time to pew 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 with that one-turn water gun and start applying some fast move pressure. Speaking of fast move pressure, Totodile is not tanking these sucker punches well whatsoever. We end up playing to the CMP tie, we do not win, and we get debuffed for our efforts. Totodile fires off the Aqua Jet, even debuffed. It does remove them from the field of play. We send out Gastrodon. Gastrodon has plenty of Mud Slaps left in the tank, even reaches the Body Slam. I'm constantly smack talking Gastrodon, but clearly, even on 4 HP, it's more than enough to deal with Morpeko, and it's probably the reason a lot of trainers use it. GG's. In the next battle, we see some Shadow on Shadow crime with Totodile into the Quagman. Totodile strikes first, firing off the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet forces the first protection of the game. realwavynsaucy, oh man, gets baited with an Aqua Tail. Trainer, that is savage. People love to bait when they see Shadow Pokemon. So if you're going to run a Pokemon under-leveled, trust me, you're going to get baited a lot. The opponent falls on the Stone Edge, picking up the knockout on Gliscopod, hits the field of play. The opponent saves Quagsire. Again, we're not sitting in a great spot. I like realwavynsaucy's play there. He waited for the opponent to dump their energy. And then we can send out Morpeko and throw this Aura Wheel on the CMP tie. The opponent invests the Protect Shield, looking to force hard, and we're going to have to shield here as an X-Scissor would probably one-hit KO. Morpeko and Gliscopod pace at the same speed, taking 10 turns. realwavynsaucy cannot afford to overfarm whatsoever, so forced to throw this next Aura Wheel instantly. Is our switch timer going to pop up? No, it's not. Oh man. We're going to need the opponent to be running Morpeko in the back, I think, to have any chance of winning this game. Aqua actually isn't lethal, it's Mantine in the back. We saw the good of Gastrodon last battle, having 4 HP, being able to handle Morpeko, but this is the bad. When you get stuck against a flyer, it's literally GG's. I think the only win con for us at this point is the opponent having a heart attack. It looks like they're alive and well, still playing the game out. And that one, unfortunately, is going to end in defeat. GG's that opponent. In the next battle, we see probably the worst thing this team can see. I think Chesnaught could potentially sweep the entire team. realwavynsaucy like, no, I've got a plan. Okay, shielding up the superpower is a good start. The opponent stays in. We fire off the Psychic Fangs, even with debuff defense, a non-stab Psychic Fang that doesn't do too much. We're able to fire off the next one on the CMP tie, at least forcing a Protect Shield back, but this is still a Chesnaught that's far too healthy for either our water types to deal with. With that in mind, realwavynsaucy very quickly burns both Protect Shields. He then farms up once again, maximises energy, throwing the Psychic Fangs on yet another CMP tie, forcing the final protection of the opponent. Morpeko has put in so much work, to be honest. This Chesnaught is now free farm for Totodile. Totodile hits the field of play, gets a very nice water gun farm down. The opponent sends out Morpeko. Totodile is going to get outpaced. realwavynsaucy farms up, makes the catch onto Gastrodon. Just like that, we're back in the game. Please no flyer. Please no flyer. Holy cow, this could actually be a winnable game. Out comes Sableye. Foul play now might be cheaper, but does less damage. Gastrodon survives the foul play and 2 further Shadow Claws. I think this is a win. The opponent isn't going to be able to reach a foul play on the return in Totodile. Totodile water gun farms down, leaving with the Aqua Jet, and I can't quite believe it. We've actually beat a Chesnaught lead. GG's, and thanks for playing. What a win. I was actually chatting with realwavynsaucy. He sent me a few battle submissions towards the end of last season that unfortunately I wasn't able to shoutcast. So he asked me, do I not shoutcast him because he's crap at GBL? Well, firstly, buddy, you have all the skills to pay the bills. When I saw Chesnaught last battle, I thought you were cooked and you was able to emerge victorious. Whilst we're on that subject, if anyone does send me battles and I don't shoutcast, don't think it's anything to do with your ability. I shoutcast all sorts of ability from like low ace rank all the way up to leaderboard on the channel. I think it's great to have some diversity. So the main reason I probably haven't shoutcast you is just because of my outside game commitments. I've recently turned 36. I'm a manager at work where I work 42 hours in quite a stressful job. I've also got a missus, 3 kids, 2 dogs. There's plenty of commitments that don't involve being on my mobile phone and watching Pokemon Go. That's today's tangent. So returning to the commentary, Gastrodon will be investing the Protect Shield, looking for the Mud Slap farm down. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, make the pivot back into Mantine. Mantine gets greeted with the Body Slam. We pivot back out into Totodile. Totodile unable to water gun farm down before the opponent reaches the depart an aerial ace. realwavynsaucy burns the final Protect Shield, finally gets the water gun farm down. Totodile is insanely low. Annihilate potentially is going to be able to counter farm us down before we water gun farm them down. The opponent does exactly that. Gastrodon re-enters the arena. Mud Slap farms down. It's Morpeko in the back. Morpeko looks to reach a potential Seed Bomb. Gastrodon able to outpace. We reach the Earth Power, and Earth Power picks up that one-hit KO. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see some Shadow on Shadow Cron. Let's see if realwavynsaucy looks to call an Aquatail bait after the last opponent baited us like a savage. realwavynsaucy gonna respect. Okay, at least we get Mud Bomb. It doesn't feel too bad to shield that. realwavynsaucy this time has a change of strategy, firing off the crunch, anticipating a shield. The opponent tanked the damage, we're able to get the defense shot, but unable to water gun farm down. The opponent fire off the Mud Bomb, we hold strong. I don't know if we actually stopped tapping there. Potentially, we wanted to get a 1 Thundershock running start. If that was what we did, a very high IQ gameplay. The opponent sends out Gliscopod behind an energy, and they're instantly going to be giving that Protect Shield back up, blocking up the Aura Wheel. realwavynsaucy still with a shield to hide behind, going to be investing here, blocking up the incoming X-Scissor. We're going to return fire this Aura Wheel. The opponent now receiving the energy for that next X's. I'm going to anticipate a switching out, looking to catch it onto Gastrodon. We do exactly that. The opponent hold their energy, then go for some chip and dip, firing off an Aqua Jet before sending out please something that isn't Mandibuzz. The opponent bank their energy, then they're able to make a very nice catch, catching the Body Slam onto Drapion. As it's not Shadow, are we outside of crunch range? The opponent throws on alignment. Can we hold strong? Come on, Gastrodon. Hold strong, buddy. Unfortunately, Gastrodon gets knocked out. The opponent able to outpace the Aqua Tail. It's all going to come down to energy management. Aqua Tail isn't lethal. We look to farm up as much energy as we physically can. Unable to do so, we get Poison Stung farm down, and that one ends in heartbreaking defeat. In the next battle, we see Toxapex in the lead. Certainly not something Totodile is going to be particularly good into. We save switch into Morpeko, baiting out Chesnaught. This is certainly not a good matchup, but definitely where the team wants to see it. Morpeko is the only Pokemon that's got any play into this thing whatsoever. realwavynsaucy able to obtain himself a shield advantage. He's very quickly going to give that up, blocking up the incoming superpower. realwavynsaucy looks to take back switch. Come on, trainer, let it go. Psychic Fangs forces the opponent's final Protect Shield as the opponent switched late. Can we outpace? realwavynsaucy thinking about it last second. Invested Protect Shield, blocking up the superpower. We reach the Psychic Fangs on the CMP tie. This little mouse is literally carrying the team. realwavynsaucy takes back switch. The opponent sends out Toxapex. Look for that poison jab farm down, as if Morpeko hadn't done enough heavy lifting already. It fires off the Aura Wheel, putting the opponent in a range where one Mud Slap will be knocking them out. The opponent bank their energy, send out Mandibuzz. Totodile very happy to see anything that it's got neutral play into. We fire off the Aqua Jet. Holy cow, putting them instantly below half health. Totodile actually doing something, which is great to see, as this thing did cost realwavynsaucy like 650,000 Stardust to power up. Unfortunately, Totodile just missed out on the Aqua Jet, but the damage is already done. The opponent going to fire off Foul Play after Foul Play. We reach the Body Slam, which I'm almost certain doesn't knock out, but this game is still over. The opponent going to reach one further Foul Play, but that shouldn't put us into Brine range, and Gastrodon is going to be emerging victorious. Holy. Morpeko, you monster. In the next battle, we see Totodile into Gastrodon, a somewhat of a neutral matchup. These Mud Slaps doing crazy damage, but the Water Gun damage is almost keeping pace. The opponent goes straight for the Body Slam. Body Slam looks like a pretty decent move when it's Totodile on the receiving end. We tank the Body Slam, fire off the Aqua Jet. Totodile actually makes this matchup pretty close to the Zero Shield matchup, which is pretty absurd. Gastrodon enters the arena looking for an energy lead and to absorb the Body Slam. realwavynsaucy anticipates Mandibuzz entering the arena. Gastrodon and Mandibuzz are like two peas in a pod. Mandibuzz did make a temporary appearance, and out comes Drapion. The Scorpion with a heavy pacing advantage in this matchup, taking only 8 turns to the Aqua Tails, whereas we take 10 turns to Aura Wheel. But realwavynsaucy does have an energy lead. He's full sending Aura Wheel after Aura Wheel. Dark Type Aura Wheel supposed to be resisted by Drapion. The opponent doesn't respect the damage. Someone forgot to tell Drapion that's a resisted move. Mandibuzz re-enters the arena. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see Totodile into Mandibuzz. We've already seen that this Aqua Jet actually does very respectable damage, despite Mandibuzz being insanely bulky. Aqua Jet instantly puts them into the yellow health range. The opponent going to return fire with the aerial ace. Totodile holds strong, looks to reach the next Aqua Jet. We attempt to throw on CMP, but the opponent actually take the extra air slash. Aqua Jet forces the Protect Shield. Can you believe it? Totodile at 1,279 CP forces a shield, which is absolutely crazy. One of the bulkiest one in the meta. We send out Morpeko, looking to get an energy lead, and the opponent sends out Chesnaught. We are so appreciative to see this thing enter the arena, as of course Gastrodon wants no part of it. We land the first Psychic Fangs, a shield at the Frenzy Plant. We farm up to the double. Where does the opponent burn their final Protect Shield? Psychic Fangs goes unshielded, removing Chesnaught from the field of play. Out comes Annihilate. We full send the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel! Boo. Go shielded. Switch timer pops up. We pivot into Gastrodon, baiting back out Mandibuzz. This is one of the scenarios where throwing double resisted moves is very, very advantageous for us. We can just farm up as much energy as we physically can and getting the Earth Power ready for that returning Annihilate. It looks like realwavynsaucy looking for the full double resisted Mud Slap farm down, which we're able to get. Poor old Mandibuzz today. It is not your day. Annihilate re-enters the arena. We fire off the first Earth Power, rocking them below half health. One further Mud Slap. The next Earth Power is reached, and that is all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. Totodile into Gastrodon. We're seeing this one play out. Not a particularly bad matchup for us. It's a soft loss in the zero shield scenario, but that's essentially the best you can hope for, running a Pokemon that CP starts on 1 then 2. Aqua Jet went unshielded, putting the opponent down to around the 3rd health. Real Wavynsaucy, going to invest to protect shield, blocking up the body slam. Unfortunately, the opponent is going to be able to outpace the body slam at number 2, so I'm not really sure if I agree with that shield. It was kind of wasted in my opinion. I guess it did force the energy off the snail, but still we're down a protect shield and we don't have switch either. Switch advantage would have been very, very nice in this battle. As the opponent sends out Mantine for our Gastrodon, we pivot into Morpeko and out comes Guzzlord. The opponent still hanging on to 2 protect shields, and this game is definitely over. Once again, our win con relies on the opponent having a heart attack, something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. My dad actually had a heart attack. He had a triple heart bypass, and apparently it's very painful. I guess the opponent lagging out is also a win con. That one somewhat more feasible, as the game is still pretty trash at the best of times, but no one really wants to win in that way, so I'm going to anticipate us top left in. Real Wavynsaucy playing out to the very bitter end. There's the concede, and we're going to move on to the next battle. Another absolutely awful lead. We're going to say switch into Morpeko, again baiting out Guzzlord. Unfortunately, we end up throwing an alignment, giving the opponent a full free Dragon Tail. The resistant Aura Wheel instantly rocks them below half health, and as the opponent doesn't opt to throw that energy, we will be obtaining ourselves a shield advantage here in the mid-game scenario. No, trainer! I've got no idea why the opponent didn't shield there, perhaps looking to call a bait, not that anyone's throwing a double resisted Psychic Fangs there. The opponent already saw the resistant Aura Wheel did half the health, so believe it or not, a boosted one is going to do the remaining half. Real Wavynsaucy has switch advantage, and that is a very nice position to be in. The opponent pivots into Sableye. We bank a bucket of energy. I thought we were going to completely sack Totodile, but Real Wavynsaucy like, no, this is the Totodile showcase. We're actually going to double shield here, which could make this game somewhat dicey. Real Wavynsaucy going to be unable to water gun farm down. Oh boy. Have you been watching me too much, buddy? Have you found your own lose con? The opponent's going to need to reach so many surfs to knock us out. Well, not so many. I think 2 probably get the job done. Real Wavynsaucy full sends the Earth Power. Earth Power forces the opponent's first protect shield. Oh boy, please tell me we don't lose after taking back switch. The first surf puts us into the red. Real Wavynsaucy throws 1 Mud Slap and the Body Slam. Body Slam will be forcing the opponent's final protect shield. We're able to reach the next Body Slam. Holy moly, we did our best to throw this game, but still able to emerge victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle, Totodile into Spirit Tomb. These sucker punches tearing through our HP. The opponent attempt to catch onto a Azumarill unsuccessfully. We bank our energy, send out Morpeko. Morpeko goes straight for the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel, despite being super effective, isn't going to one-hit KO, but it does put him into the red health. I'm going to go for the 1 shield and farm down. No, we're not. The opponent actually just threw an Ice Beam, which is survival. The opponent threw 6 bubbles, so I've got no idea why you wouldn't play rough there. You're only reaching 1 move, so you may as well throw the correct move that actually knocks out. We're not complaining, as we're able to reach a Dark-type Aura Wheel, forcing a protection off the returning Spirit Tomb. We've already seen Totodile lose his CMP. I was going to say we should take the extra water gun, but the game gives us 1 turn bring in, so we're not able to get our move off. We shield at the Rock Tomb, return fire with the Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet is caught on Sableye, but still does a solid chunk, and we send out Gastrodon. We see the instant no shield, a foul play, not that threatening this season, especially from the regular variant of Sableye. Shadow is certainly the way to go. This next foul play is survivable, but can we Mudslap farm them down before they Shadow Claw farm us down? No, we cannot, and it's all down to Totodile to clean up. Totodile very much in danger of getting Sucker Punch farm down. The opponent gonna Rock Tomb, debuffing our attack. It's gonna be Water Gun versus Sucker Punch. Who will prevail? No! Unfortunately, not Totodile, and we take a heartbreaking loss. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, we see Shadow annihilating the lead. Holy moly, look at these Shadow counters. Just 6 counters, do half our health. We are going to invest to protect shield, blocking up the Rage Fist, as that would probably knock us out. We're only reaching 1 move, so I agree with throwing the crunch, fishing for that 30% chance of a debuff. We don't get the debuff. Real Wavynsaucy recognises he's just going to get a counter farm down, sends out Gastrodon, the boosted Rage Fist, puts us below half health, and out comes Mantine. Oh boy, this game already looks over. We're not going to write realwavynsaucy off though. He's pulled off some crazy dubs. Let's see if he can pull out some mad shenanigans to win this battle. The opponent is going to get a huge wing attack farm down, which is very problematic for us. Despite Morpeko hitting the double super effective here, a Water Pulse or potential Ice Beam will do a lot. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam, instantly putting us below half health. Realwavynsaucy, going to invest to Protect Shield. The opponent, of course, go for the Aerial Ace bait. Back up comes Annihilate. We attempted to Water Gun farm down unsuccessfully and we concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see a Charm Gallade in the lead. Charm, of course, tearing for our HB. We are able to reach an Aqua Jet, which should be forcing us an early shield advantage. We do exactly that this time. We're happy to stay in, fully sack Totodile and send out Gastrodon. Go for the one shield and full Mod Slap farm down. I do agree with staying in there as, of course, Morpeko doesn't want to see Gallade whatsoever. Out comes yet another Charmer. Brion, what is this team? Is this triple Charm? Oh man. As if I needed reminding why I don't like this cup. It is triple Charm. What the heck is this nonsense? I hope this trainer sees many Toxapex that just ruin its day, as this team is by far the worst team I have ever seen in my entire life. You thought Grasshole was bad. Here's triple Charm. If this battle was near the start of the submission, I'll be honest, I probably would have cut it out, as I don't want to publicise that triple Charm is a viable strategy. However, as at the 21-minute mark, and hardly anyone's probably still watching at this point, that trainer can have their moment of glory. Heading into the final battle of today's video, we see Totodile into Gastrodon. Realwavynsaucy shields up the body slam, returns fire with the Crunch. Crunch, a 4-star shield back. The opponent doesn't commit to the full Mod Slap farm down, recognising we would reach another charge move. Body slam picks up the knockout. We now enter the mirror. The opponent should reach an Earth Power before we're able to fully Mod Slap farming down, although I wouldn't recommend shielding this, as Morpeko does need a shield to function. Earth Power rocks our snail deep into the red. The opponent save Gastrodon on low health and send out Dugong. We fire off the Earth Power. To my surprise, forcing the final Protect Shield. Okay, come on Morpeko. You can sweep one more team in Morpeko, I believe. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind bait, but no bait. We'll be saving this Dugong's fate. Realwavynsaucy perfectly over farms, throws the Aura Wheel on the CMP tie. Down goes Dugong. Gastrodon is still alive, but at low health. Back out comes a snail. We fire off the Aura Wheel. Is it necessary? Super necessary. Down goes Gastrodon. What wants to tank? A double boosted Aura Wheel. Wall Rain certainly isn't that answer. Morpeko gonna end the video closing in style with perfect energy management. GG's and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for yet another very fun battle submission in the Scroll Cup. I can't quite believe it. I'm having fun shoutcasting in this format. A huge shout out to realwavynsaucy for bringing us today's entertainment. If you too have 100% IV, a Shadow Totodile, should you spend over 600,000 Stardust to power it up for the Great League? Let's be honest, the answer to that question is no. No, you should not. Evolve it to Feraligatr, because we all know that thing is bloody annoying in all 3 leagues. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.